With that, we'll move on to item 2.1, the Wildomar Crossing Center project. Matt.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. This item is the Wildomar Crossings retail project. The project's located basically at the northwest corner of Clinton Keith Road and Stable Lanes. It's a vacant lot that is across from, or kitty corner to Renaissance Plaza. Planning Commission reviewed this project last month at its meeting on April 18th. The applicant provided a presentation regarding the history of the project and community outreach efforts. We had 12 public speakers who spoke in favor of and against the project. We did receive 2 letters a few days prior to the PC meeting, which formal responses were prepared by the applicant's attorney. Those were provided in the packet for council tonight. In reviewing with the Planning Commission, they supported the project. Obviously, they had made a recommendation for council to approve the applications before you tonight. They were concerned about the architectural design theme for this retail center. As part of their deliberations, they asked if I could come up with a condition that would somehow require an upgraded architectural design theme. I came up with a condition spur of the moment and just thought that the planning director should review and approve the design changes. The commission also had recommended several staff-sponsored edits to the parcel map and plot plan conditions. Those were listed out in the staff report, as well as those conditions have been part of the parcel map and plot plan conditions matrix that's in your resolutions tonight. Oops. So the condition, you have before you an errata sheet, and I will get into this a little later when we get to the end of the slide presentation, but there's been some discussion about the architectural design package going back to the Planning Commission review rather than the Planning Director. So the language that I have before you tonight would be part of that plot plan resolution motion, and I've shared this language with the applicant and he is fine with that. And on the another point to that regard, we have already started deliberations on a revised architectural theme. So the applicant took that into consideration seriously and has already started to make changes, and we're going to be talking about that and try to bring that back to Planning Commission in June if possible. So the applications before you tonight are the adoption of a mitigated negative declaration, proposed change of zone from RR to C1CP to be consistent with the general plan. Tentative parcel map will subdivide the 2 parcels into 4 parcels, and a plot plan to develop the 26,000 square foot center. The project did have the MND that was circulated for 30 days. We received 8 comment letters from various agencies and the general public. As part of the final MND package, staff and our consultant responded to each one of those letters in great detail, and those were sent to everyone 10 days prior to the Planning Commission meeting in accordance with CEQA. And then just as a general note that all project-related impacts identified in the initial study have been mitigated in accordance with CEQA. That resulted in 29 mitigation measures which have been applied to the parcel map and plot plan conditions. So the proposed change of zone, as I mentioned, RR to C1CP. The C1CP zone that they're requesting is highly consistent with the general plan designation of commercial retail. It does permit the development of commercial retail centers and other retail uses and commercial uses according to our code. As an important side note, the general plan land use designation of commercial retail has been on our land use map since the city's incorporation, and even prior to incorporation, that site's been planned for a commercial retail center or some kind of commercial use consistent with the zoning ordinance. So this shows you the exhibit on the left is the existing. I can see the red, which is the CPS and C1CP zones. And then the designation on the right shows the new zoning designation, which on our map would be a red color. The tentative parcel map is, the site's about 3.4 acres. You're going to subdivide into 4 parcels. 4 parcels will be used for the development of the site. The 5th one is an outfall area, drainage area that will be protected. Each parcel ranges in size from 0.31 to 1 acre. The users that will be part of the project, we have the AutoZone store, Wendy's restaurant. There's a multi-tenant retail building that, as far as I know, has no tenants at this time. And then the Dollar Tree store, which will be the larger, the larger site. This is a parcel map. The dark black lines are showing how the parcel will be subdivided. There is a condition on the parcel map for reciprocal access and parking, so everyone will be able to park anywhere and walk anywhere on the project. The plot plan is needed to develop the site. As I mentioned, the 26,000 square foot center with the 4 buildings. As I noted, the 3 tenants that are existing, I believe they are here tonight to offer their support for the project. They were all at the Planning Commission meeting last month as well. The buildings range in size from 2,600 to 10,000 square feet. As I mentioned, the required parking is exceeded. Is reciprocal access and parking, all the drive aisles, stall dimension circulation meets our code. And then the proposed buildings comply with all the development standards related to setbacks, landscaping, and lot coverage. Primary access to the site will come from stable lanes. There'll be a left in, a right in, depending if you're coming from the North Ranch community. Secondary access will occur off Clinton Keith with the right in, right out only, just because of the high volumes of traffic. And the project has been conditioned to construct full public improvements on stable lanes and Clinton Keith Road, and more importantly, a traffic signal at the intersection of stable lanes and Clinton Keith Road. The Lennar North Ranch project was also conditioned to put their fair share into that signal, as well as Cimarron Plaza, which is the vacant site just across Clinton Keith from this one that had a retail center on it as well. So the roof-mounted equipment will be screened according to city standards. We did have a condition that we wanted to propose to help minimize noise impacts. So truck deliveries are restricted between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. So you won't have any late night trucks coming in at midnight, dropping off goods. The site has been designed to provide buffering. There's landscaping walls along the north and west property lines. And then the landscaping will include a variety of 24 and 36-inch box trees and a variety of shrubs. This is a site plan / landscape plan. You can see all the landscape area. The outfall area is at the southwestern part of the site. Everything will drain to that area there. The AutoZone is in pad 1. The multi-tenant is pad 3. The Wendy's is pad 2, and the Dollar Tree is the major tenant in the back. So the architectural theme, kind of a modern retail approach. Design elements included lots of stucco, wood trellises, columns, and veneers with an earth tone color scheme. The following slides here are what was presented to the Planning Commission. So you can see the design of the Dollar Tree. This is the design of the AutoZone building. This is the Wendy's design and the multi-tenant design. And as I mentioned, the Commission has some concerns about that, so I won't need to reiterate what they said. So this is something that we just talked about. So the actual condition that the Planning Commission had proposed originally was that prior to building permits, the applicant would submit a substantial conformance to the planning director for a review and approval. Because we want this to go back to Planning Commission, it was an important element of their public hearing. In fact, we've already showed a couple of the commissioners that were involved in that discussion the design, so they're looking forward to working with the applicant to come up with a great design that will meet their concerns and needs and bring that back to them. So the new condition with the motion of the plot plan tonight should read, prior to the issuance of building permits, the revised architectural design package shall be reviewed and approved by the Planning Commission. So whoever makes that motion, that's what we'd like to see in there. As I mentioned, the applicant supports that condition, and it's in the plot plan resolution. So with that said, the commission has recommended that the council adopt resolution 2018-22 approving the MND and the MMRP. Secondly, introduce improved first reading of ordinance 151 approving the changes from RR to C1CP. Adopt resolution 2018-23 approving the parcel map with conditions, and then adopt resolution 2018-24 approving the plot plan with conditions, including the special conditions. So that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions council has.
Very good. Council, any questions before we take public comment? All right. First person in public comment, Gracie.
Thank you for letting me come and speak tonight. I moved here from a city just east of East Los Angeles. And I moved here a few years back, bought one of the homes near the project that Mr. Bassi was speaking of. The homes were expensive, and I expect a lot from the community that I moved to. One of the reasons we moved here and bought here was because when you get off the freeway, the smell, the trees, the beautiful, beautiful, and now it's like wonk, wonk, wonk. I agree with progress, and I dig the fact that we want to be progressive. City, you know, I come from a city that just celebrated its 60th year of incorporation, and I actually served as mayor of my city. I retired many years ago, but seeing that this city is only 10 years old, I can see where you're going, and I just wanted to speak because I've decided to land here, and it concerns me. First of all, I'm all for progress. So it's great that we're doing this. However, make sure you're looking at all the points, and unfortunately my representative isn't here today, but I know that you all join forces to vote for certain things. My problem is I've seen this before, where a city gets so excited about giving progress to the people that they take their eye off the other things that are going on, specifically in that area. On the corner of Clinton Keith and Palomar, across from the Rite Aid, you know, you've got guys parking on private property every single day with their big trucks soliciting services. Hey, you know what, we've got a ranch in Tanaha as well, and I went and asked for their rates, and then I asked for paperwork, they don't have it. So why are they there? Now, the city attorney knows very well how to get rid of that problem. You go after the homeowner. Putting up signs that say private property, no. You create an ordinance and you vote on it that they cannot do that. They cannot have signage out there because there are legitimate businesses that pay for their marketing. They pay for their permits. That problem, no. I'm running out of time. Also, the homeless people that are living in the, you know, people are complaining. Mr. Bassi referred to the retail center as a modern retail, but again, I'm all for progress. But a Dollar Tree, come on, there's one right there. That's not modern retail, that's ghetto retail. Yes. I came from there, I don't want to stay here, if that's the case. And I'm sure a lot of people who paid top dollar for our homes in that area would agree with that. Please reconsider, and I'd also like full disclosure on what representative has been talking with these entities. If it's not on your 700 form, you're in trouble. If there's been any, you know, gifts over $50, anything like that, I'd like to see it. Please don't shake your head because I come from an area where it happens quite often. So I just want you to consider that before voting and perhaps changing the face of what you really intend to put there. I thank you.
What was your name?
Gracie.
Gracie. Thank you, Gracie. Greta Copeland.
Hi. Thank you. Okay, I own the land that she's talking about. I bought it 18 years ago, and it was always marked for commercial. We all know that. And I've been waiting for the right time, and I believe this is the right time. And the developer that is interested in this, I find it a good project. He's a good developer. He's been working with the planning department for 2, 3, 4 years, really working with them. He wants to make any changes. And I think these businesses are good, solid, solvent businesses. They're not going to go out of business. They're going to be there, and they're going to bring a lot of jobs into the area and revenue. I think you should go for it. I hope you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Joseph Morbido.
Since I put my name in the hat to represent this area, I feel it's my responsibility to comment on this item. Now, this came before the Planning Commission last month, and one of the letters from the residents clearly indicated that they knew the area was slated for commercial retail when they purchased their home, or their homes. Living near an undeveloped field in town myself, I can feel for the residents of North Ranch, especially those nearest the wall dividing their neighborhood and Wildomar crossings. Still, I have to say that I'm an advocate for property rights, and if a property owner would like to develop their land, and it's in accordance with the city's general plan, and makes sense for the community, I can't see trying to stop it. One comment from the last meeting went this way. The stores aren't consistent with the neighborhood. I don't have anything against stores like Dollar Tree or Wendy's or AutoZone, but the neighborhood has moved up in caliber. So these stores, as they are currently planned, are no longer applicable to our community. Well, one of the problems I have with the above quote is that those stores aren't being built solely for the benefit of the North Ranch neighborhood, but for the entire city and greater area. The property owner is looking to exercise their rights and seeking to develop their land according to the rules of the city. What could be more American than that? I live quite near an open field that is on the southwest corner of Baxter and the freeway. I've always known something was going to be developed there, and I've recently seen preliminary plans for it. And there is room for something akin to a Dollar Tree. Wildomar has been on a shoestring budget since day one of incorporation, yet the residents here still would like to have nice things like well-maintained roads, more police presence, and stricter code enforcement. Those things cost money, and sales tax from new businesses is the best way to bring in more revenues to pay for such things. My guess is that if that Dollar Tree spot was slated to go to an Aldi or Trader Joe's, there wouldn't be the same type of pushback. Dollar Tree, AutoZone, and Wendy's are solid, nationally known businesses and will be assets to Wildomar. Now, my question about the project itself would be around the signage. Now, I looked twice in tonight's agenda packet and didn't see the same graphic that was in the Planning Commission's one. In that one, I didn't see any branding for Wildomar Crossings or the city of Wildomar. So, is there going to be branding?
All right, next from AutoZone, Zyber.
Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Council. My name is Zubir Saki. I'm the Regional Manager, Operation Manager for AutoZone. I've been with them for 25 years. My territory kind of covers from the Mexico border all the way to Long Beach. We've been working on this project for about 10 years to get into the community. We actually have employees that live in this community but have to travel all the way to Corona to work. So we would like to get those folks back home. Also, we like to participate in the community and help with jobs and help with the community. I'm also here if you guys have any questions about AutoZone or any operations. I'm here for that as well.
Thank you. Levon from AutoZone.
Yeah, again, I also work for AutoZone as well. I'm a district manager, although I don't cover this area. My area covers Moreno Valley, Paris, and then also the Orange County market. But I've been a resident in this area for over 10 years, homeowner, and so forth and so on. I'm here, obviously, to represent AutoZone, but also to represent my area, which is the Windstone area. And there are plenty of times where I have, my neighbors approach me and ask me, hey, when are they gonna, build an AutoZone near us? Or where is an AutoZone? And I have to direct them to either Lake Elsinore or the opposite way, which is, Marietta. So it would be nice to have an AutoZone in this area. I think it's gonna benefit us a great deal. Also, again, provides employment for the youth that are growing up as well. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Michael Landon from Canadian Pacific. Canyon Pacific.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Michael Lundeen with Canaan Pacific. I'm the leasing agent for the project. I've also been working on this project a number of years. I firmly believe in it. I think it's great for the community. In surveying the trade area before we started on this, in terms of the full leasing program, we noticed that the vacancy factors are very low in Wildomar. Like I'd say they average around 5%, which is extremely low for Riverside County. And I've worked in Riverside, San Bernardino County for over 20 years leasing shopping centers. So we noticed that it was a very healthy trade area. In addition, besides the property being commercial in the general plan and designated as commercial, there's a number of new homes that are under construction in this area, like over 1,000 within 2 miles. So it's a very fresh place for more retail to be added to your community. And it's also exciting because these would be the first locations in Wildomar for both AutoZone, Dollar Tree, and Wendy's. So, what better way to go? So thanks for having me here tonight. And in addition to the national retailers, just to make it clear, there will be opportunities for smaller tenants like local businesses, coffee shops, restaurants, and other retail. So it's the focus of the center isn't just the big, but it's also the little guy too. So thank you very much for having me, and I believe in Wildomar. Thank you.
Thank you. From Wendy's, Zayed Buki? Get close to that one?
You're fine. Yeah, good evening. My name is Ziad Bukai. I, along with my brother, we run and operate 28 Wendy's in California. We have one actually under construction in Stanton, that's 29, and 7 in Orlando. We've been with the brand for over 27 years. Us, along 7 district managers, we have over 20 plus years experience in the brand. We're in it for the long term. We'd love to be part of your city. Thank you.
Thank you. And Amber? Or am I saying that wrong? Amber?
Good evening. I'm a Wendy's franchisee. I started with them I've been with them since 1992, almost 27 years. Like my brother said, we run 35 Wendy's. My sons are getting involved in the business. We're here to stay. We love one of our founders' value, Dave Thomas, is to give back to the community. We've always gave back. We give scholarships. We're part of high school, AYSO, Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, American Heart Association. We're humbled and hope that we'll be part of the community, and we'd love to be part of this community.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I have 4 more comment cards from people that are marked that are available for questions. Looks like the development team, Carl Boostman, Heather Riley, Michael Schmeiger, and Hasib Kursuri. Getting close to that? So I guess those are they're available for questions if our council has any more questions, but I think that's the end of the speakers. Council, questions, comments?
No, I don't really have any questions or comments, except I love the chili.
I don't have a whole lot to say. I see the concerns with the dollar store. I get it. But I'm not here to assume that they don't want to make money and they're not in it for the long haul either, because the whole point of being in business is to make money. So I believe that they have the intentions to do so. So I don't think that will be an issue of closing. And other than that, no.
Home values go down.
Ma'am?
No problem.
Ma'am, we won't have any comments from the crowd. If you know, then you shouldn't do it.
I know.
Okay. I think one of the things that if the members of the community are here, we don't pick the types of stores that go into these facilities. Our job up here is to occasionally update a general plan. We need to do that. As well as once that general plan is updated, to assign those, we don't get to just assign those zones. People get to come forward and ask for a zone change. We allow or don't allow that zone change. And then we allow or don't allow the applicant process, which is happening right now. And that's the end of it. We don't get to tell them exactly what store goes in it. When this Albertsons Center came forward from the county, they didn't get to pick what was beside Albertsons. They knew an Albertsons was coming, but that's about it. So, I just want to let the community know this is not something we get a choice in. I can appreciate some of your concerns, but for a long time, this has always been known to be a commercial area, along with a lot of Clinton Keith, a lot of Bundy Canyon, a lot of other Baxter, and all of that. So if you have a chance, if you want to look at our general plan and our current zoning map over there, you can see where those areas are. They're in red, they're commercial zone. If they're on the general plan, it's commercial zone, but they're not red yet on the zoning map. If they come in here and they're following our general plan, we're gonna probably say almost 99% of the time yes, unless there's some real reason not to, because again, our general plan is what our planners have thought this is where commercial should go. So I just wanna make that very clear. I also make clear that before tonight, I'd never met any of the gentlemen that were over there representing these companies. I happened to walk over there and shake some hands and say hi, just like I did over here. Never met any of them. I'm happy that they're here. I'm happy that they want to come to our community and open businesses in our community. So I thank you all for their stepping forward to do that, because it's tough in California to open a business. It's tough in California to maintain employees. It's tough in California to keep moving forward in that community, so thank you. With that, I think the comments and questions from the Planning Commission as far as the look and feel of the building, yeah, I could see where their comments are coming from, so I agree with them on that, Matt. And I'm sure you've got plenty of comments on that already, so I don't need to weigh in on that. My only other thing is, as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, boy, there's another opportunity here at some point for us to start seeing charging locations for cars. And that's not something we're requiring. I've noticed in a lot of cities around us now, I'm starting to see those more commonly. Menifee's doing it, Marietta's starting to do it. It's probably something we need to talk about as a separate item going forward.
Well, yes, I mean, they will be providing EV charging stations.
Well, there are
Part of the Cal Green Building Code requires them to do that.
charging stations or just parking?
Well, the parking, like we have out here, that will be part of it
Oh, okay.
as well, yeah.
But, because I've seen, I think the Cal Green Code just calls for EV parking, not necessarily chargers.
Well, they'll have the chargers.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. All right, with that, there's the errata sheet, so if someone wants to make a motion with the errata sheet.
That goes down further. I
Oh.
think we need to start with ordinance 151.
And actually, before we start with anything, we do need to ask the question of the applicant. You're okay with going back to the planning commission and with what we're talking about as far as that?
Yeah.
And that motion, okay. Very good. With that, I'll take a motion on item 2.1.
Take them
2.11.
one at a time.
I move approval of ordinance 151.
2018 type 2.
Oh, I'm up one. I want resolution number 23.
Go back one page. No, you can go back one. You're skipping one. This one here.
Ah. Excuse me, resolution number 201822. Move approval.
Second.
Any opposed? So moved. Item number 2 is ordinance number 151.
And the ordinance needs to be read.
I recognize that. So can I take a motion first, or do I need to read it before we take the motion?
Should be read before the motion.
All right, so ordinance number 151, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Wildomar, California, approving a change of zone, PA number 16-0134, from RR Rural Residential to C1 CP General Commercial. The Wildomar Crossings Retail Center located at the northwest corner of Clinton Keith Road and Stable Lanes, APN number 380-120-003 and 380-120-004. I'll take a motion on that.
I'll sum that.
Second.
Any opposed? So moved. That item passes 3-0. Item number 3.
I move approval of resolution number 2018-23.
Second that motion.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
hard, just two of us gonna work.
Any opposed? So moved. That item moves 3-0.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2018-24. With the addition, of course, to the hard one, of prior to the issuance of building permits, the revised architectural design package shall be reviewed and approved by the planning commission. They hit the mark, Tom?
That's it. Very good. All right. Any opposed to that motion? So moved.
I'll second it.
Oh, thank you for the second, sorry. Any opposed? So moved. That item passes 3-0.